Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Merci de participer à cette conférence aujourd'hui consacrée à la présentation de l'ESCP Europe. Donc, nous allons faire cette présentation exceptionnellement en anglais pour permettre à Roxana et Constanza de s'exprimer plus facilement pour présenter notamment ce programme qui est de toute façon en anglais. Comme d'habitude, les élèves, on coupe les micros, on coupe les caméras. À la fin de la présentation, via le chat, on pose des questions. Vous pouvez les poser en anglais ou en français, puisque Roxana comprend très très bien le français, mais elle préférera vous répondre en anglais. Comme d'habitude, je serai là pour faire l'élément, je dirais, un peu fil rouge pour pouvoir faire le lien entre les deux. Je vous souhaite une très bonne conférence à tous. Et Roxana, je vous laisse la parole. À vous.
Merci beaucoup, Loïc. My name is Roxana Laro, and I am the admissions coordinator for the Madrid campus. And I'm here today to talk to you about the Bachelor in Management at ESCP. And alongside me, there's Constanza Maria, who's actually a student from the Lycée Français, where you're studying right now. She's in her third year at ESCP. Constanza, would you like to say something about yourself?
Of course. So hi, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. So I'm Constanza. I've been studying in Lisbon at the Lycée Français Charles Lepierre until 2011. So now it has been quite a long time that I didn't went to this high school. But I'm quite excited to share you all my experience that I've had on the past years, and I hope that you'll enjoy as much as I did. So actually now let's hear Roxana's presentation, and if you have any questions, you'll have time to ask it. Thank you.
Thank you, Constanza. So I'm going to share with you the presentation now, so we can have a quick look at the program, what is it about, and let me know, Constanza, if you can see my screen correctly.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So we can start. So the Bachelor of Management at ESCP, it's a Bachelor of Science, as you may all know. ESCP Business School is actually the first business school in the world. It's been around for 200 years, and we take a lot of pride in our international makeup, in the way that we are actually pan-European. And as you can see, we have campuses all over Europe currently. So that being said, we are the 8th European business school in the world, which is very important to us because there are thousands of business schools competing to demonstrate their quality. These rankings actually are based on the education, the quality of the education we offer in terms of the research our professors do, how specialized they are on the topic they are imparting, the diversity of the subjects and how adapted it is to the working world, and how long it takes our graduates to actually find a job from the moment they graduate. So these rankings are very important for you to understand all of those things, right? It's a confirmation of quality, basically. So what is special about the Bachelor in Management program at ESCP, basically, and primarily, it is that we offer you the opportunity to choose where you want to study every year. And actually, you have these choices explained right here between London and Paris in your first year, Madrid, Paris, and Turin in your second year, and Berlin and Paris in your third year. The idea is to change every year because that is a very important element in your curriculum vitae once you graduate, and it will also help you find the best of jobs. And besides the professional and academic exposure it gives you internationally, it also gives you a very unique personal experience and a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I would call it. So that being said, as I've mentioned before, we're very proud of our international makeup, or how diverse our school is. And currently, only in the Bachelor, we have 55 different countries represented, or 55 different nationalities, which I think is excellent, and it's a source of pride for us. In terms of what you're going to study, we have this program offers you an excellent basis to find out what is it that you enjoy doing and that you are good at. So it's not like, okay, I know exactly I'm going to do this one thing, but I'm going to learn about a variety of topics, and then I'm going to choose the specialization that I know I'm good in and that I love doing, right? So other than these core subjects or main subject that you will study that are typical for business schools in general, we also offer liberal arts and humanities modules, languages as part of your studies. And also you have the collective projects, which is your first connection to networking with companies and working on a project to find solutions for them, right? You also have a mandatory internship in your second and third year, so you have to do it. And this is another opportunity for you to gather working experience and to actually have such a high success rate upon graduation in finding a position and finding a job. Basically, that is the academic structure. But on top of that, there are also the student associations that are very diverse. These are just a small representation of what we have. And it can give you the opportunity to see, to participate in many, many extracurricular activities, and to actually leave your mark on ESCP as a school, and to collaborate with students who are like-minded, who are passionate about certain topics in particular. Another element that is very interesting to our students is that we have a double degree for fluent Spanish speakers. I'm not sure how many of you are in that category, but it's something worth considering, because you have the opportunity to have a diploma in 3 years from ESCP and in 4 years from the Carlos III University, which is a very prestigious local university. So that being said, I can offer you more information if you're interested in this double degree later on. But this is an option for you that I thought would be interesting for you to know you have. So this is, I think, the main reason why we're here today. Many of you probably have already heard of ESCP. You know what this business school is all about. And you want to know how to be successful in my admission process. Before I start with the admission process, however, I would like to explain something that is very common in French-speaking institutions and high schools. A question that I get a lot is like, okay, so what is the difference between the bachelor and the préparatoire? Why should I do the bachelor instead of prépa for 2 years? And the answer to that is the prépa is 2 intensive years that prepare you to study for a master in management, for example, directly or in other institutions. And the Bachelor in Management is a foundation program that actually gives you the opportunity to specialize in a specialized master upon graduation. It's actually 3 years. You have a wide array of subjects to choose from. You do a lot of extracurricular things, and I think it's less theoretical than a prépa. Prépa is more specialized. It's more theoretical, I would say. A bachelor is actually in management is much more wide as the subjects you will study. So you have a lot of different areas to pick from. And also it gives you more, like you have the internships, you have the collective projects. It's more practical, I would say. So the main idea you should remember is employability. So it helps you find a job, basically, and it helps you understand, what is it that I'm good at in practice. That being said, let's talk about the application process directly. You have many ways in which you can apply, as you can see here. But the most important ones for you, coming from a French lycée, is the ESCP website and Parcoursup, which has started actually as a platform last year for applicants. So what is the difference for us at ESCP when you apply for the Bachelor in Management? It depends on where you go on your first year, okay? So the choices that you have for us in your first year is London or Paris. So these platforms, for all the options that you have in the track, so for all the cities except Paris in your first year, you should apply via our website. But because you start your school in Paris, and this is a French territory, for the first year in Paris, you must and you have to go through the platform called Parcoursup. So this is the difference, okay? First year Paris, Parcours Sup. Any other option, Paris second year, third year, or any other city, website. So this is very important to differentiate because we're an international program, so you move a lot around Europe, so the system is a little bit different for French lycée. In terms of the success rates that we have, they're around 70% success rates, and that is because we have quite an unusual system, or not so typical for French business schools, which is a little bit more American in essence, because we have two parts for the admission system. As you can see, it's the online application and the personal interview. And we also want to know your personality type, your motivation for the program. So it's a little bit more than just your grades, and how great you do at school is important, but it's also about what else do you do other than school? Have you ever had international experiences via traveling or working or volunteering or anything that you can think of? And so in order to understand that better, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to talk about primarily about the ESCP website application, because that's something that goes directly through the campus, through the Madrid campus. So you can see there's a first step, which is the online application with all of these required documents, which are also detailed very clearly on the website, actually. So you shouldn't have any confusion about that, right? So it's very clear from the start what is required. In terms of the transcripts, you can bring them, they can be in French, you don't need to translate that. And I'm going to take a moment to focus on the personal statement, first of all, because that is a question I get all the time, like, how do I write a good personal statement or motivation letter, what's it called in certain institutions. So basically, this personal statement, you have to, it's a free-form essay, so it's not like a letter, dear sir. No, that's not what we expect to see. It's a one-page in Word. It's 5 solid paragraphs where you have to explain in English, basically, why you want to study a business program and why this school. So in order to make a good motivation letter, you have to investigate about ESCP. You have to know a little bit about the school, like what is ESCP? What is the bachelor? What subjects would I be studying? What is already something that interests me that I can connect with the curriculum offered, right? With the subject studied. Also, you can talk about family values. Are your parents involved in the business world? Do they have a business of their own? Do you hope to have a business of your own someday? Are you an entrepreneurial spirit? Also, you can talk about projects you've been involved in prior at school or outside of school, lessons you've learned, things you've done that you've learned from, experiences. It's about describing the learning experiences you've had, basically. What you should not do, okay, no, don't do it in the personal statement. Well, actually, there are 2 things. The first thing you shouldn't do is write exactly the same content as in your curriculum vitae or CV. Don't do that. We can already see your CV. There's no need to repeat the exact same information. I mean, you can talk about it, but in depth, in detail, but don't copy paste the same data, information. It's not relevant. And what you shouldn't do is more of a personal touch, and that is valid for all the institutions across the globe. You shouldn't brag. You shouldn't say, oh, I'm the best person at everything, I always do everything great, so you should pick me. I mean, it's good to have confidence, but overconfidence is not a good sign in general for candidates. It means that, where's the self-reflection? Where's the learning process in there? So we are interested to see more, what have you learned? What kind of experiences you've had? And why are you motivated to do this, right? Basically, that's it. The second stage, as you can see, is the personal interview. In the personal interview, we're actually going to check your motivation for the program, personality, like what motivates you. And for that reason, before, when you're invited to the interview, I personally send you a few tips for it on how to prepare. So don't worry about it because you're going to be going in there with some tips to make you feel more comfortable for the experience. After these 2 parts of the process are done, in 3 weeks, you should hear from us. You should know if you've been admitted or not. And then there's another side of the process that I'm not going to detail right now. Now, another interesting question is, what kind of profiles are we looking for? Because I get this question a lot as well. The profiles, as you could see, the curriculum, what you are going to study is very diverse. So we have students from all types of schools, from all types of profiles. We have from science, science 100%, scientific profiles. We have social science profiles. We have more of a literary profile, foreign languages profile. I mean, it doesn't really matter what kind of profile you have in general to us, because we're looking to see other things. We're looking at the whole individual, not just like, oh, I've studied maths, I'm the great perfect candidate. Maybe not, we will see. So basically that's how it works. In terms of the grades that you require for the French system, you can have an idea here. And, I know that the baccalaureate has changed. I mean, not the baccalaureate, but sorry, the structure of the optionals that you get and, the studies that you do right now. You have to choose what to do as optionals in your last year. So it's a little bit different. It would be nice to have mathematics or maths as an optional in your last year, or before that, right, to have maths as a subject. But if you don't, what we're doing currently is offer a short course for you to do to kind of catch up on that, because I mean, it is true that maybe not a scientific profile, but you do have to have some good knowledge of mathematics, because this is a Bachelor of Science and you have a few statistical elements, a few things that, it's important to control, to know before you start your classes. So we want you to be as comfortable as possible before you start your classes with us, basically, right? So in terms of the admission sessions, we have so many admission sessions because we have students from all over the world. And in here you can see the deadline, like the next deadline for sending your dossier or applying online is the 22nd of February. And below you can see the dates, the exact fixed dates for the interviews. Okay, so it's either the 4th or the 11th of March for candidates who are going to send their dossiers until the 22nd, right? And so on. So you can see that we have monthly sessions. So in terms of the options you have for admissions, they're quite varied. So, I think that's very agile. It's a very agile, fast system, and it offers you a number of possibilities to apply. Now, let's move on to the pricing, right? It's very important to know what the prices of the programs are. This is the tuition fees per year. This is the cost. The program is 3 years. So you should multiply it by that. In terms of the scholarships we offer, we have two types on the Madrid, in the Madrid campus. The first type of scholarship is a general financial needs scholarship. So we look at your family's income, basically, if you're a good student, if you have, over 15 in your general grades, and we look at your family's general income, household income, and we offer you between 10% to 50% off of your tuition fees in scholarship. Once you get this scholarship, before you even register for the program or enroll, you have it every year. It's automatic. It's renewed automatically. So I think that's a very interesting thing to know, that, provided you have good grades and good behavior in general, you should have that. You should count on that scholarship from the first year to your third year. Another scholarship we have, which is complementary, which means you can get this first scholarship I've talked about, and also this other second scholarship at the same time. So this second scholarship is a sustainability project scholarship. It offers you 50%, 30%, or 20% off of your tuition fees in your first year of studies. So basically, we're encouraging students who have a very creative way of looking at things to come up with ideas for a short sustainability project. And for that, we actually have a special brochure. So if you need more information about that, I can also share, what the competition is about, how it works, and so forth. The last option I generally propose, because it's not ideal, but that's financial help nonetheless. We're working with this organization, with this company called Brain Capital, and we have an agreement with them, so our students can actually get 0% interest rate. But I mean, that is a case by case. You need to discuss how much funding you would get according to your situation, and that is something that you need to discuss directly with Brain Capital, right? But it's good to know that there's also this option, basically. So for my last part, I wanted to tell you about what do students do once they graduate, right? So I finished my studies in the Bachelor Management. What now, right? What do I do next? So basically you have two options. You can either start working immediately, which as you can see, 46% of our students did last year, or you can specialize with a master, which is what 51% of our students did last year. So you have these two options. And now I'm going to show you what kind of companies, where do the students work, right? These are just a few names, obviously, because you probably have heard and you know what Boston Consulting Group is, what Amazon is, what EI is, and McKinsey and so on. So you've heard about them, but there are hundreds more. And these are some of the areas where they work. So you can see it's very diverse, actually. The idea is for this program is to go find what you like and go for it and work in that area, or study in that area and get better and get to a higher management position after that. So basically this is the main concept. In terms of studies, they're studying masters all over the world. So you can see, for example, in the United States, in Columbia, Cornell. You can see the London School of Economics. I mean, everywhere, St. Gallen in Switzerland, and so on. I mean, you could go anywhere with this program, basically. You could study and specialize in a master all over the world. So that's it from me for now. I would love to hear your questions later on. This is my contact email and phone number if you have any inquiries to make at some point. And thank you for your attention. And that's pretty much it from me. I think that the important part now is to hear what, Costanza, if she would like to share some things about her own experience at ESCP, and then we're ready for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was nice to see all the evolution of ESCP program in such a small time. So I started my Bachelor in Management 3 years ago now, and I've chosen the track London, Paris, and Berlin. So now I'm supposed to be in Berlin. I started my year in Berlin, but now I've quite moved because of the current situation that we're all facing. So this experience has been quite a unique experience, as when we enter the ESCP community, we have the chance to meet people from all over the world. It's incredible to meet and to speak all the languages you know. For example, my first day, I remember I was meeting new people in the London campus, and I didn't realize that I was managing and speaking like 5 languages with different people, because they were coming all over the world, and I was able to speak with them with their own language. So that was amazing. And also because of the variety of the courses that we have at ESCP. Since the day one, we are immersed in this multicultural environment, and we have the chance to tackle really different subjects that can be more scientific and mathematics, such as Roxana said before, but also projects that are actually recurrent in all the subjects. So we have the possibility of sharing insights and working in groups. So it's really a nice idea of working together, and I think it's quite different from your experience at the Lycée Français and the French system. So that's it for my side. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation, and please ask as many questions as you might have, since it's a quite unique program, and maybe you have questions about how you how you handle these three cities in 3 years. It might be quite tough, but at the same time, you grow a lot. So in 3 years, you become a total different person from the first year. So I hope that I've been clear enough, and I'm waiting for your questions.
Merci beaucoup pour votre présentation, Roxana et Constanza. Effectivement, c'était très clair, très pertinent. Alors, moi, une chose que j'ai apprise que je ne savais pas, c'est effectivement qu'on pouvait rentrer dans un programme soit via Parcoursup, soit via UCAS, soit via la Common Application. Donc, effectivement, pour nos élèves, la plupart, je pense, qu'ils passeront par Parcoursup. Donc, c'est important aussi qu'ils connaissent les critères, et vous les avez rappelés, notamment les critères d'admission. Sans plus tarder, je propose aux élèves qu'ils posent leurs questions. Donc, est-ce que vous voyez la question de Margarina? I was little late, so maybe you've talked about it already, but what's the English level required for the program? Alors, je ne sais pas qui peut répondre.
Sorry, yeah, sure. I can answer because I already put it in the chat room because I want everyone to see it as well. I think it's better to have like visual aids. So basically, that is the minimum required, like IELTS 6.5, TOEFL 90, and CAE 180, which is a C1 level minimum, right? What's the median pay after the courses? It's 40K, if I'm not mistaken, 40,000 euros, according to our data. Like for the salaries upon graduation, Antonio, I think that's what you're asking me, right? Courses, what do you mean by courses? Could you please detail that? You can also ask in French questions. I think that Costanza is an excellent pro in that, and I can understand quite well. Yeah, for the double degree, do you have to have, not necessarily, but you have to have a high level. So Marie-Caroline, so I'm gonna answer your question. You have to have very high level of Spanish, like a C1. B2 plus C1, so you have to have a high level. It's not necessarily needed that you have a certificate, but you do need to go through an interview in Spanish. So there you will be checked. You will see if you don't have the level, you probably won't get past admission. So yeah, you do need a very high level of Spanish.
Donc, je pense qu'effectivement, pour Antonio, c'était bien ça. Vous avez répondu, Roxana, c'est quel salaire une fois qu'on a fini le programme? Donc, vous l'avez dit, 40 000 euros.
Yes, we've done this research, and yeah, for last year actually, for what happened with the recently graduated generation.
Thank you. Is that equivalent to the C1? So you answered that. Yes, yeah.
Yes, the CAE, the 180 points, is actually, yes, it is the equivalent of a C1 level for Cambridge tests. Yeah, for sure.
Alors, est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions? J'ai vu certains élèves qui étaient arrivés un petit peu en retard sur le chat. Oui, c'est ça, 40 cas par an, Antonio. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres... Vous pouvez poursuivre les questions, peut-être sur le programme, sur l'admission?
Yes. Yeah, no. Sorry to interrupt. It's Antonio. He says 40K per year. Yes, yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, it's not per month. Yeah. It's a yearly salary. Sorry, Loic, I heard what you were saying about the Parcoursup situation earlier. Yeah, it's true that it's not very clear. We have so many ways of application. For our school, actually, the Parcoursup for Paris first year is mandatory, but for the other options, it is not actually because they go to other countries. So it's a little bit different. But I understand that, most French lycées are informed only about the Parcoursup way of applying. So just to clarify that.
Alors, est-ce que vous avez des aides, est-ce qu'il y a effectivement des accompagnements pour les élèves lorsqu'ils vont dans un autre pays, lorsqu'ils passent d'un pays, d'un programme à l'autre, sur une année sur l'autre? Est-ce qu'il y a quand on passe de Berlin à Paris ou à Londres?
Yeah, Loic, so you're referring to the question that Marie-Caroline is asking?
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, we have like a student service department. I have to be honest, like for the residences, actually what I do is once you're admitted into the program, I send you the options that are student residences that are very close to the campus. For London, for example, I know most students go to Nido, which is 15 minutes walking. And for Paris, I also have some options in line. And so I suggest like places where you could find, and also there are WhatsApp groups where students share flats. So they find flats. There's also a Facebook page where you can find like flat shares. And I mean, we have even a project from our students that are also supporting students looking for housing, which is called the ICE project. So there are many options, basically. You will know about the options, but we will not, like, honestly, I will not, or we will not give you like a housing, tell you, yeah, you should, you know, this is your house or this is your room. That's not going to happen. So yeah, that is a challenging point to find your residences, but you have the information where you can look for a good place.
Alors Antonio, oui, on parle toujours de salaire brut. Carolina, Constanza, ah bah voilà. Donc peut-être que vous pouvez répondre.
Peut-être je peux répondre. So what am I planning for next year? So due to the current situation, I'm actually thinking of not starting my master's yet, but I have many friends that are actually into the process of looking for a master and doing all the application process for a master. So it's very common to do a master at the end of the bachelor, of the 3 years of bachelor. But I'm planning to start working in a company as an intern, and maybe next year I will start a master and will specialize myself not only in management, because I need to be clear on that. We will get a really broad knowledge in a bachelor in management, which is very common in the master's in management. So actually the level is pretty the same, and it's nice to also meet master students in the Paris campus. I was in the Paris campus last year, where many master students study there. And when you talk with masters, it's also nice to see that the subjects are the same actually. So you study not as in depth as master students do, but you have the same subjects. So it's a really complete education program. If you do a master, where are you planning to go? I'm actually planning to go to the US if it's possible, but I'm still looking for a master that corresponds me. So I hope that you don't have any more questions. Just ask in the chat if you have more questions, maybe about the previous questions from Marie-Caroline about the how do I find the house or an accommodation. ESCP does help you since the moment that you have been accepted, and they put you in a Facebook group where you are with all the students from your year, so from your class. So I have, for example, a ESCP group as well with the other students that are entering, so you can give tips from older students. And normally you are in touch with a real estate agency in order to find an apartment that you can share with the other students. But also, as Roxana said before, there are many accommodations in the city, and it's also nice because at the end you find many different friends from ESCP, but also from other schools. Do you have agreements with companies to employ your students after the university? Actually,
no. Some, but not in general. I mean, if he's referring like this is a job for you, this is a job for you. No, that is the whole point of the study. Sorry, Constance, I'm going to answer first. We do have L'Oréal, who has been a very in BNP, and so we have certain companies that are very loyal and they're very like open. And I know that we have a lot of students working for Amazon and so forth. So we do have, but we don't have like insured employability for you in the sense that I'm going to give you the job. This is part of your education. You're going to go to a lot of workshops to work on your resume. You're going to go to mock interviews. You're going to do networking workshops in Madrid. I've been to some of these activities, so I know for a fact you have one-to-one sessions to help you find internships and to help you refine a little bit like the way you're going to look for a job and your CV. And the idea is for you to be prepared to actually find the job when you graduate. We have a network of alumni, and we have started very powerfully this year with the website and an application where you have all these events and you can network more with our alumni or former students. So you have many opportunities, but I mean, we have students. I know a student who's going to work for JP Morgan, and he was hired in his second year because he's an exceptionally gifted student, and he's really good in finance, and he was really like applied to find a good internship from his second year. So I mean, yeah, but it also 50% depends on you. Sorry, I don't know if you wanted to add something to that, Costanza.
No, I was just thinking about all the services that we can have in the campuses. I've not been in Madrid, but I remember that in London we also had some services that help us to better our CV and also prepare for the interviews. So yeah, there's a eye preparation, and also the career fairs as well. Yeah, the career fairs, we have many career fairs with many companies that come, and then you can introduce yourself. And actually last year in the career fair I was able to really get in touch with one company, and I managed to get an interview with them, but at the end it was actually complicated because of the time, because actually you need to do an internship which is normally 6 weeks, if I remember correctly. No, 12 weeks.
It's 12 weeks. It's actually 3 months
Okay.
that you have to do of internship.
Okay, so it's 12 weeks, and it's quite hard to find a 3 months internship, but you always can discuss with the company, and the ESCP will provide you an internship agreement. So it's quite helpful for that. And I don't know if I can answer Roxana. Marie-Caroline asks if the working and study load at the high school is the same as in the bachelor. Do you want to answer, Roxana?
I think it's more for you because you've been a student in high
Okay.
school and you've been a student at ESCP, so you know how much of your balance work life, you know.
So actually at high school I was doing S. I don't know if I know that it has changed since I've been a student at a high school in France, but the workload really depends on your involvement and your application in studies at ESCP, because you have to be autonomous. You have classes, you need to follow the classes, but if you don't want to work, then it's it's your problem. You need to get really a good balance between the exam that will be at the end of the semester, and also the projects, the group projects that you have during the year. So it's not a real change between high school and university. And don't be scared, because the SCP prepares very well, and it's a constant work, and it's not only considering the final grades, so the exam grades. It really considers all your implication, your participation, the group work that you do during the semester. And actually the year is divided into semesters. So the first semester you have some subjects, then you have the finals, which are the final exams. You have also midterms, so you have the midterm plus the final that gives you the grade of the subject. And then after the first semester you have the second semester, and you have other subjects, which is really good because you have different subjects during the year. So Antonio is asking, what's the environment in the school? The environment in the school, it's a really nice environment. You meet different people, as I said before. It's also very nice to meet people coming from all over the world, so you're not feeling, or oh my god, I'm so far away from home, I'm alone, I don't know anyone. They're all in the same situation. We're all in the same situation when we arrive at university. We don't know anyone, but it's a really good environment. And it's really cool because you can find people with different interests, and with these societies that were mentioned in the presentation, you can find people that are really have the same interests as you. Actually, I can share my experience. During the first year, you have, for example, a collective project. So this collective project is a project that you need to handle with your group, and you need to find something that you want to present at the end of the year. And I've actually created a society, so you're also able to create a society even if you're a bachelor student or a student or first year student. So it's not rare. So it really happens that someone creates a society, and I've created a society to connect students from ESCP to actually a humanitarian organization. And we have organized a humanitarian trip to Haiti with 8 students from the ESCP, which was really amazing. So there are so many opportunities. I think Antonio just raised his hand. You can talk, or maybe you don't have any question anymore.
Je vous propose qu'on pose une dernière question parce qu'on va arriver à l'issue de cette conférence. Moi, peut-être donc j'ai bien compris, Roxana, sur les mathématiques, parce que c'est une question qui revient souvent, notamment pour les écoles, je dirais, de management, les business school post-bac. Donc, clairement, ce que vous dites, c'est que si les élèves n'ont pas forcément la spécialité mathématique en terminale ou même en première, il y a une possibilité de rattrapage lors de la première année du bachelor. Ou alors il faut quand même que l'élève en première ait pris les mathématiques.
Thank you for your question, Loïc. So actually the idea is to have mathematics, but I said, well, if you don't have mathematics, we have currently a solution in which you would take a course in the summer, or you just have to do catch-up courses on that, because it's a must. You cannot study this program without good basic mathematics. It's going to be very complicated for you otherwise. It's preferable to have mathematics, but if you're already in your last year, it's too late to change your optionals. It's too late to take up mathematics. We can see your transcripts and we can consider for you that option to do the mathematics course.
Ok, donc effectivement, si un élève, en fonction de son dossier, enfin, le dossier vous convient, vous trouvez que c'est un élève qui peut parfaitement convenir à votre formation, que l'entretien s'est bien passé, mais qui n'a pas les mathématiques, il y a toujours cette possibilité de faire un rattrapage. Mais on garde quand même en idée l'idée que les mathématiques sont importantes et que s'il y a des élèves de seconde là, au moins prendre les mathématiques en première, c'est important.
Exactly. Thank you, Loïc. Exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Yes.
Ok. Est-ce qu'il y a une dernière question, une dernière remarque? Non? Bien.
If I may say something fast, Loïc?
Oui. Just peut-être la dernière. Do we need to take techno as a specialty? What is techno, Béatrice? Do we need to take techno as a specialty? C'est quoi? Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire, Béatrice? Technologie?
Technologie, no, that's not a must for us.
Non. On n'a pas de spécialité de technologie au lycée. Ah, NSI. Non. Non, c'est pas une. Alors, dernière question, est-ce qu'il y a oui, il y a une sélection, donc est-ce qu'il y a un numéro de place limité? J'imagine que oui.
Yes, there is a certain limit to our capacity, obviously, because we try to keep the classes small and we try to, we give individual attention as opposed to public schools where you have hundreds and hundreds of students in one class at the same time. So yes, we do have a limitation on the spots.
Ok. Bien, je vous propose que l'on s'arrête là. Il est 14h32. Merci beaucoup pour votre présentation. Merci beaucoup aussi pour les réponses apportées aux élèves. C'était un échange fructueux et je crois qu'on a bien compris l'enjeu du bachelor. C'était très intéressant, je trouve aussi qu'il y ait une ancienne élève. Ce qui permet d'avoir un regard un peu plus pragmatique des fois pour nos propres élèves. J'ai effectivement votre contact, Roxana, donc en fonction de questions, quelquefois peut-être plus techniques sur Parcoursup ou autre, je n'hésiterai pas à transférer votre email aux élèves. Et puis j'espère qu'on pourra se revoir en présentiel à Lisbonne si la situation nous le permet l'année prochaine.
Merci beaucoup, Loïc. Merci à tous pour la participation.
Très, très, très bonne journée. Au revoir.
Très bonne journée. Au revoir.
Beaucoup,
Au revoir.
bonne journée.
Bye bye.
Au revoir.
Au
Thanks.
revoir, merci.
Au revoir. Merci aux élèves. Au revoir.